welcome everyone to our final day of the Overwatch League Summer Stage Qualifiers in the East. I'm Vicky Kitty, and here we're together with Necro, reunited once again, and we got our last stretch of matches for you guys today.
I can't believe it. It feels like just yesterday that the Summer Stage Qualifiers for the Eastern region had kicked off. And here we are. It is the final day of them. And that means we're going to have everything unfold before us. Who's going to take the first seed? Who's going to be filling in the slots in between? And what is it going to look like heading into the East knockouts?
Yeah, I'm so excited, especially seeing how our teams have been doing thus far and the action that we had yesterday. We get to see our first match of the day is going to be against Dallas Fuel versus Panthera. And Dallas Fuel, you know, we were looking at them versus their series against a Hangzhou Spark that did very, very well. Totally recommend everybody watching right now. You guys definitely need to check out that match because it was an absolute giga banger. But it also transcends into what we could expect for the day.
Absolutely. I mean, every single team is going to be putting everything out on the line. Even our teams that ended up finishing out their Summer Stage Qualifiers yesterday, they were still fighting with everything that they had, even if they were at the bottom of the standings. And today, it's not really that different. There's a bunch of different implications looking at the three matches that we have ahead of us. And it's really not just the result of the Dallas and Panthera match that's going to have an influence on how the rest of the standings shake out. I mean, I'm jealous of Avril and Leg Day. They get a chance to take you through the next one that we've got on the docket too, because, there's a lot that comes down with the Hangzhou Spark and Dreamers match.
Yeah, that's going to be our second series of the day. And then to close things up, we do have O2 Blast versus the Shanghai Dragons. Once again, though, it's been a nice set of the last 3 weeks, just all these teams playing out for that qualifier spot where they're going to be seeded into that knockout bracket. Dallas Fuel, their perfect record came to an end yesterday. And now seeing Spark saying you can't get away with this any longer, and Dallas Fuel now unfortunately don't have that spotless record anymore here, but now they have to try to see what they could do against a team against Panthera, which it should be in the works here, Necra. As we expected in the last time we saw Dallas Fuel looking at their history thus far and the way that they've been able to grasp with meta, but then we saw what happened at the very end.
Dallas Fuel, they've been on a tear this entire stage. That first half of the season, they struggled a lot when it came down to finding their footing in the meta, and they ended up leaning a lot more into like the Reaper, Moira, Rush composition that they became well known for in the APAC region. Fast forward though to the Summer Qualifiers, and now they're sitting at a record of 6-1, with their only loss to the Hangzhou Spark yesterday, and still on track with a win today to take that first seed away from Seoul Infernal. And that was after so much hard work into creating a stronger double flanker dive look coming out from them.
Yeah, and here you have your schedule for the day. We made mention it earlier. Got the first match, going to be the Dallas Fuel versus Panthera. Once again, for those of you guys just tuning in, later on, we got Avril Leg Day taking you guys through Spark versus Dreamers. And then to close out the day and the qualifiers, we got O2 Blast versus the Dragons.
It's going to be a great day of matches. I mean, O2 Blast, that's another team that started to really come alive, especially looking at what happened yesterday for them. And so I'm so excited to see if they can keep it up and if they can continue to get better and better as we look at how they're going to end up performing today. But the Dallas Fuel is your reigning champions. Let's welcome them to the stage.
I always get goosebumps seeing these highlight videos for our teams out here, especially Uber's boys at the very end, crowning them as champions. Here we have our starting lineup, our only players here on the Dallas Fuel, of course, and it's that consistency bringing the Dallas Fuel together and their outcome so far and the way that they've been training, approaching this stage. You could definitely tell MCD, Hanbin especially, have been in the hyperbolic training chamber out here, making sure that they can adjust their play in the best way that they can. And it's been paying off. But then we saw some glimpse of back the rush, the Junker Queen coming in from what we have witnessed within the Hangzhou Spark, and them not really feeling confident in matching that mirror on the dive.
Yeah, which is really interesting to me because, again, just the amount of work that Dallas Fuel had put into actually making that dive stand out for them. That was why they had that flawless record, why they ended up beating the Seoul Infernal. Yet another one of the double flanker dive teams that stands at the top of the Eastern region. But I hope they don't get too dizzy, because Panthera has also been leveling up. You talk about the hyperbolic time chamber. What about some of this new talent that has come into this roster to really save the day for Panthera? The synergy has been so on point. When we ended up seeing Arpen come in, Develop ended up moving over to a support role after being traditionally a DPS, and has been showing up as well with those more high mechanical skill heroes like the Ana.
Love to see that we still have our fans out in the crowd, even if our teams aren't on the stage right now. But
Becky, play of the match.
Right? Gonna come in, the Panthera, they need all that energy out here too. Shout out to the WDG arena back in Seoul. Becky, for player of the match, was that sign. Love to see a lot of these fans come out and bring out their support, even bringing out some pictures too of the players.
I know, their art is so good. And I'm really excited that we get a chance to still have these arena viewings for all of these teams. Do wish we had a LAN match today, but sadly we do not. I think everybody was on their feet though for the Seoul Infernal and the Seoul Dynasty match yesterday, but let's go ahead and still put our hands together for the Dallas Fuel and Panthera, as they are going to be heading up against each other in this match. And for Panthera, you know, they still have a lot to prove as this team. Arpen came into the roster a little bit earlier on in the summer stage in order to be able to take up the main tank helm. But Becky and Sparkle, this is where things start to get really interesting to me, because Becky's Echo has been amazing. But Becky's Tracer, also not too bad, but when you look at kind of the head-to-head here, Sparkle takes that a little bit.
Yeah, actually, you've seen the survivability there for Sparkle. I love how you highlighted Becky's Echo, but we also see mostly that Tracer coming in alongside the Sombra that we have from Panthera from Nice. Sparkle, though, getting enabled by Edison. Edison just insane with his flexibility, but it's that hit scan DPS that he really nails down. Also like to highlight here the pulse bomb kills. We'd love to see the pulse bomb sticks and the percentage of that here between these two players, but we'll be able to get that down within this first match alone. See how that matches up against each other with these two Tracer players.
So that's where things get really interesting to me too. When you talk about where the Tracers get help from in the DPS lineup, we really need to start looking at what is Edison going to play and what is Becky going to play. Yeah, Becky, Sparkle, they both bring out phenomenal Tracers. But as of late, we've seen Becky play the Echo more often than not, especially on a map where you can. Like, Becky's Echo absolutely pops off. But if Edison plays the hit scan, then does Becky even feel confident going for that pick without something to kind of help keep him alive?
It's also nice to know, too, Sparkle, aside from the Tracer and the stats that we saw on board, we've been seeing him still on the Reaper, the May, the Rush style embodies the Dallas Fuel. So the Dallas Fuel, you know, really sticking through with that Jugger Queen and the Ram. As we go onto our very first map on Antarctic Peninsula, we can definitely expect some of that coming in.
Would love to see if Dallas Fuel sticks to this anti-dive comp that we saw them play against the Hangzhou Spark yesterday. That featured the Junker Queen, as well as the Mei, the Reaper, just kind of all of these different heroes that you would be able to focus down onto a Winston to be able to push them back. But more often than not, that didn't work. Esperanza, that wasn't a composition that Dallas Fuel were able to kind of nail down into that style of play. And even on Numbani as well, when we saw a little bit more of like the Diva Echo, just not something that really came alive here for Dallas. So it's going to just be double flanker DPS dive as we open the gates, and a mirror match through and through on sub level.
All right, not wasting any time here too. Nice anti onto Bliss and Edison. Develop holding a back angle here too. Sparkle's already getting set up here. Just some poking damage before the point gets unlocked. But with the way the Hanbin and Arpen are playing so forward, this is a statement to control the space right behind the point here. Currently, Hanbin, he's already been able to boot off Becky from the high ground, being able to drop down, while Sparkle's going to be able to control that low ground. The engagement has already began, and it's Panthera holding onto that low ground with Nice being so low. He's going to be able to restabilize 4 right now, but it's a heavy skirmish from the rip. No picks just yet.
picks coming through, and it's still just a jockey for position on the point as Dallas Fuel are so close to getting the capture, but they're waiting for the opening pick. But it's going to come from Becky instead onto Hanbin.
And this is the highlight right here, too. Between Sparkle and Becky, even though was able to get that first pick, it has much more of an impact with Hanbin going down, despite Sparkle finding Becky. Becky will be able to come right back in, and the EMP was built up so quickly from Edison, taking care of the backline, and this is going to push back Panthera even further, as they're going to try to look for a reset. Maybe the trade comes in, but still, Sparkle and Edison, they are cleaning up this point.
Sparkle and Edison, this is exactly where Dallas Fuel put in a ton of work to be able to get that synergy online to work with the dives coming through from Hanbin. This entire team as a whole, one of the reasons why they even had that undefeated record heading into yesterday was because of this double flanker dive. This is why. I mean, who could have expected that Edison would have had the EMP online already? Oh, and the translocator there from Nice so that Edison doesn't have the escape mechanism.
Called it out. Also activated the EMP here. Blizz had that Nano on top of him. He's also got that rally ready. Arpen activating the primal. Rally from Slate here too. Ready to unleash here, and with a huge anti onto Bliss and Hanbin. Can the follow-up come in? No, Bliss with the rally. Keeps everybody on the Dallas Fuel alive. So he's going to be able to match that here too, but it's another wide skirmish. Bliss getting harassed by Becky. It's a matter of time before Bliss goes down here. MCD is the next victim. Nice follow-up between Becky and Arpen, and that's the highlight here. Well, now Panthera are able to take control over the point once they take care of Edison. It's the stall there, not going to last for long.
Stall is good, and Dallas Fuel already walk away with 78% capture progress on this first objective. Panthera, they're really looking at Becky opening things up with a pulse bomb, and Becky's pulses have been really good this stage. Every single week getting better and better on finding those key targets in the back line, and MCD is going to be public enemy number 1 right now. Or if you're able to get like Edison or Sparkle, despite the mobility, any pick here is going to spell success for Panthera. Oh, Edison's EMP though, that came online very fast.
Edison is crazy. Little charge machine when it comes to that EMP when he is on that Sombra. Steve coming in. Here comes the Nano Boost here coming in from Develop. Bryn gets hit with another anti. MCD has been on point with these antis, but has constantly been getting harassed by Arpen, finding Bliss at the same time too. Great picks here for Panthera as they still have control over the point.
Arpen has been a great Winston for Panthera as well. Coming into his own, being able to play a more of an aggressive style, and that gives so much space for Nice and Becky to work with. As Nice actually gonna have the EMP online too. That hack is gonna send it.
Oh, Hanbin was the insurance policy to try to help them, and as the EMP from Edison is unleashed on the point, Arpen gets punished for it. Primal going down here too for Panthera. Sparko now trying to send out the pulse bomb. Unfortunately misses the stake here. Be able to retaliate as he goes right back to the point. Hanbin is going to be able to find him in the middle of that rotation. EMP activated. Hanbin goes down. MCD does have that nano online. Primal activated as well for Arpen. Just going to be able to shove Edison all the way back before he translocates right out of there. MCD caught in the side. Edison can't run away. They are able to reflip the point now back in their favor at 92%, though the Dallas Fuel still hold the lead.
Dallas Fuel were able to sneak that out from under their noses too, so that's so much capture progress. Before Dallas Fuel get a chance to come back into this one with not 1, 2, but 3 ultimates. MCD's Nano as well, just a really nice way to keep somebody alive, or even try to get another EMP online to shut out this map. But it is final fight. That comes down to who's going to be able to grab this first pick, and Becky already gets a low, trying so desperately to get this pulse bomb online.
Waiting for the opportunity. Overtime ticking away in favor for Panthera. A nice anti onto Hanbin. Nano boost now activated from MCD onto Hanbin. While he's isolated, nice bubble onto Develop, but here comes the rally slay. Helping out Develop when they needed him. They need to keep that Nano online, but while the rest of Panthera navigate around the point, they allowed the Dallas Fuel to flip it right back in their favor. The backline gets deleted. I love that rally from Bliss, setting up Sparkle into that position. Now Edison's about to get the EMP, and the members from Panthera are falling like flies.
Not too many people can come back and touch either, and even if they do, Edison's got the EMP ready and waiting for Arpen to make his return.
Oof.
Can't even touch back down from the moon. What a clean and very back and forth round though from both of these sides. Nice engages, nice execution on top of the EMPs, the pulse bombs, even if they were a whiff and a miss. It was still a great way to scatter the backline and make them more vulnerable to getting picked off.
Especially the re-engagement that we got to see with Dallas Fuel utilizing that rally after Hanbin originally tried to isolate that backline from Panthera with the bubble. All right, already seeing some swap-ups. Usually in sub-level, that's when we get to see the Winstons, and this is what I was expecting already. Going into now this second round, we do get to see that Junker Queen coming out from Hanbin.
Yeah, sub-level is usually for the Winstons. You've got so much nice backline to play around with, but when it comes down to Icebreaker, the Junker Queen is able to close the distance so well. Though Panthera is playing the dive. This is an atypical composition we would see on this map, but if you're proficient in it and you are confident, you might be able to get the jump on a key member like Edison in the back. You only have that power slide once before you may go into a focusing beam from Becky if you're not too careful. And take a look at how Panthera want to try to pincer this. But they fall instead.
They split themselves up, going wide over to the other side, and now Hanbin's trying to find Becky. Becky did get that one pick here, but Panthera are completely outnumbered. Ooh, with the Jacket Blade and the follow-up from MCD, just to be the nail in the coffin. Dallas Fuel take control of the point here first.
That was a clean stagger from Hanbin too, just recognizing the perfect opportunity where Becky would fall and then knife and then back to sender. As Dallas is also going to make a little bit of an adjustment here as well. Edison's going to switch off the Sojourn onto the Cassidy, and that gives you a little bit more stable DPS into something like Becky, and with the magnetic grenade as well, you might be able to just kind of 1-2 punch it into that Echo, as he already has a duplicate too. Expect him to get aggressive.
Very interesting approach here too from Panthera. You can see holding different angles before they encapsulate on top of this point. Becky has that duplicate like you mentioned here, and with the focusing beam, they find Edison. Becky is going to be able to copy that Junker Queen, take care of the rest of the Dallas Fuel that is left over on this point. Playing spread out. They were trying to contest Panthera, and they essentially just circled all around them before they engaged.
That's what Panthera are going to try to play in this game. The Echo plays a little bit more poke style rather than the Sombra that's going to be playing harass in the back line. And with the mobility that Echo has, you can just flit around these buildings and you don't have to worry too much about trying to overextend into enemy territory. But that is why we see Edison on the hit scans and why this Cassidy makes the perfect choice against the Echo.
Embodies the word hit scan out here too, but then nice. Sending out that pulse bomb. MCD helped out with the immortality field right before that Primal was able to take him out from our pen. Nice is going to be able to funnel the Dallas Fuel right back through this side room here, and is going to be able to try to engage with our pen. Hanbin though, he's got the rampage. He can try to use it to engage here, and with Becky falling incredibly low, Dallas Fuel have a plethora of ultimates to work with.
Oh, Hanbin's so low though. So you really need to be careful and wait for also Panthera to try to get into a bit of a better position. But with the way that Panthera is playing this dive, they're not all in a straight line for this rampage to be able to hit multiple members.
Oh, sound barrier into the blizzard here. The rally from Slay. Our pen survives just barely, but manages to live through. Becky as well as one. Edison, the problem that was able to take care of Becky in the skies, deleted here. Here comes the rampage from Hanbin. It's found the back line. Shout coming in. Slay develop, get taken out. That's developed going out with the nano on top of it. Now, Hanbin doing what Hanbin does best, clears out the point with some help from MCD to put him in this position. Had utilized that immortality field inside that side room earlier on too.
Well, there's how you unleash the rampage then. That would have been very difficult to lock down if Panthera were still playing around these different corners of the point, but if you're able to isolate a couple of members in the back line, you may as well just go for it. Hit the trigger, and that's going to be Hanbin able to clean things up before Panthera even approach that final fight territory mark. Becky, though, with the duplicate. This is where you're going to want to see Edison try to play a little bit with this high noon. It's going to be a nice way to zone Becky off, but it's going to be the duplicate onto the Baptiste.
All right, well, I mean, could enable the rest of Panthera. They already used out the immortality field. Hanbin being taken out. Our friend's about to get the problem. He has it online now. With the window also being used by Becky. He got that online so quickly before getting right back over to the Echo temporarily. Edison's gonna be able to find him with that nade. Sticky fingers as Edison's gonna be able to back away. Also has that Deadeye ready. Our friend's gonna try to engage here. Nice anti-follow-up as well from Develop. Was able to isolate Edison. The sound barrier from Bliss. Find him at the gates. Panthera are nearing 95%, and the Dallas Fuel, specifically Sparkle, has been able to isolate Develop without Slay. The sustainability is wavering for Panthera.
Gonna be a point cap here from Dallas, and not much left in the tank for Panthera to get back into this one. Called out Slay going down early there without being able to get the rally online, and that might not come up in time for Panthera to make this a quick engage back as a 5.
Overtime now taken away. Nice immortality field from MCD, but a huge ante coming in from Develop. Edison still is able to find Nice as he tries to engage with the Pulse Bomb, the rally from Slay, and the Nano onto Arpen. The survivability is there for Panthera, and the rest of Dallas Fuel giving just a little bit of space, allowing Edison to get into position. He gets hit with an ante, but a quick disengage from Panthera. Put themselves in the line of sight for that Rampage that's been able to find Becky and Arpen. The way that Dallas Fuel now are countering Panthera with their positioning is great, but Slay and Nice with the whip shot and finding Bliss is going to be huge here. It only leaves MCD for the sustainability, and no Hanbin here either. Sparkle's a tricky one. He's got the Pulse Bomb stick onto Slay. He's still alive for right now in another clutch immortality field, but he can't touch the point. He was nearing right there, but they were staggered through already, and Panthera gets to take the second round.
Very scrappy. That is 2 rounds in a row now on Antarctic Peninsula, where these two teams have gone 99 to 100. And also in those final moments, just having to see that clutch factor come through from either side to make sure that they get the point flip and the round win. So it all comes down to this. We're heading over to Labs to settle the score on Antarctic Peninsula after some really great gameplay coming through there. Even just in these final moments from Nice to try to clean it up. Look how slippery. Even despite the fact that that was a zoning pulse, you still put Hanbin into such an awkward position where you could just clean him up at the end of the day. But it's going to be more of the same as Panthera. They may not necessarily want to go with something like the Echo. It's actually why you're going to see Nice start out on the Sombra instead, so that Pecky can play that role, but it is going to be that mirror dive once again. Dallas Fuel got the better of this on sub-level, but can Panthera turn it around here?
Dallas Fuel plays such an aggressive dive, and Panthera are trying to match that energy right here too. Hanbin's got the high ground. Friend has to back away to the loving arms of Slay and Develop. Objective is finally unlocked here, but Panthera taking a much more passive approach to rotate onto this point here.
Ooh, Becky gets hacked, has to recall, so is able to cleanse that away, but Dallas Fuel still have the high ground as Panthera do have to get pushed back.
Back it away while the Dallas Fuel had their feet on the point first. A hack onto MCD, back it away. Hanbin's right there. Stay off, Mayana. I was going to say Harpet was literally one. Edison with the follow-up right afterwards. Nice is forced to relocate away. Spark was nearing that pulse bomb here.
Already gonna get that online. Might be able to even throw it in this one if they feel like Dallas Fuel needed to try to clean everything up, but nice sleep too.
Yeah, Develop said you thought, and the Nano on top of that onto Slay to help heal for Slay here at the same time, because it was both Sparkle and Edison that were on their backs. The rally now from Bliss. Well, Edison's about to get the EMP. Anti now onto Hanbin. Here comes the Nano from MCD. EMP, once again, still online here for Edison. First pick onto Becky, though, and Nice is going to meet him right back in the spawn room door. So they will be able to re-engage with the Panthera, though, once they try to take this fight on that point with the rally. But right now, it's just going to have to be a reset here. Will Dallas Fuel clean up?
Nice cleanup, and all the while, Panthera just haven't had a chance to get a stable contest in. This whole time it's Dallas Fuel pulling the trigger first. Even Hanbin getting hacked there gets taken so low, but a full pocket coming through from MCD and Bliss is going to keep him stable, as Edison has yet to use this EMP onto Panthera's backline. Nice has one at the ready as well, but Dallas Fuel have been so quick with these engages. It's going to be a trigger from Edison first.
And Hanbin with the follow-up, finding Becky off of that EMP too. Arpen managed to get away, managed to get to the health pack right there too. Has that primal, so he didn't get picked off. It's the importance of the Sombra here on this point as well. They can get those hacks on the health packs and then restabilize. But Dallas Fuel already nearing that 90% mark on the point.
This is looking really bad for Panthera. Their saving grace is that Nice has yet to use the EMP either, and so that would be a way for Panthera to get back into this fight. But Dallas Fuel plays so split up, and with Hanbin within striking distance to help peel for the backline.
He wants it. He wants it. EMP, but it's only found Hanbin. The follow-up here as Becky sends out the pulse bomb, doesn't get the pick, doesn't get the stick. Arpen has the primal. The rally and Nano are available here between Slay and Develop. Hanbin falling low. The restabilization from Edison after he relocated originally Tier 2. Nano just going to set Arpen up in the driver's seat. He's going to shove all of Dallas Fuel right back through that choke point by the stairwell. Managing to back away here too is going to be Becky with the recall. It's putting in that extra pressure because look how aggressive the amount of pressure the Dallas Fuel are still sending out to Panthera despite these ults that they have used. MCD, he was angry after results yesterday from the Spark. Sends Arpen, sends Slay all the way back after nano boosting Bliss. It's the cleanup with the whip shot. Gonna be able to take care of that backline while they make their way right back to the point.
Oh, Arpen overextended there. And with a sliver of HP, just wasn't able to get away from the Winston bubble, and Panthera just can't touch. So Dallas Fuel, with an even more convincing round win this time around, will take our very first map of the series.
Had to add that little stick at the very end for Becky. Just an ego stick. They already knew that they lost, unfortunately. He wasn't going to be able to make his way into the point. Dallas Fuel. There we go, going all the way to round number 3, taking our first map on AP. Sparkle. Love to see the Tracer Ditto going on between Sparkle and Becky, but Sparkle, his survivability is so much better, especially on that first map in comparison to Becky. Hobbin, the communication really coming through for the rest of this team to help peel for that backline that just essentially baited Arpen into that side room. Love to see the looks here for the Dallas Fuel. We got map number 2 on Numbani right after this break. Welcome back, everybody, to Dallas Fuel. Take map number 1 on Antarctic Peninsula. We are moving on to map number 2 onto Numbani.
Numbani, very excited to keep seeing these Winstons versus Winstons. I'd expect that both of these teams would stick primarily to either the Stormboard Tracer Winston dive in Dallas Fuel's case, or Panthera bringing out the Echo, again as we saw on Icebreaker, and fares a lot better on a map like Numbani than it would on a ship in the middle of the ocean. Or the ice shelf?
I mean, I guess... You know, I was gonna say iceberg, I guess, in some ways, but
probably.
But what doesn't fare well in
Geology.
these insane environments is Dallas Fuel. Have they recovered after the Numbani map that they had against Hangzhou Spark yesterday? I don't want to reopen fresh wounds here, but you mentioned the Echo, and that tends to be the problem here in that matchup that we had seen with the Spark. Now, of course, it's a different level, as this is Panthera at the end of the day. We saw some crazy plays between Leave and Shy on the Spark yesterday. Gushway 2 was honestly popping off me. That's why he was the MVP at the end of that series. But going into the series, you definitely know that the Dallas Fuel, with the way that they've been training throughout this entire stage thus far, have been able to try to iron things out going into this next map.
You would hope so. And one of the ways that Dallas Fuel tried to attack the Tracer Echo Winston of Hangzhou Spark yesterday on Numbani was with the Ash from Edison. When that failed, Edison switched back over to the Tracer. Sparkle stuck to the Echo himself, but Hanbin also brought out the Diva. That is a hero that we haven't seen too much out of Hanbin as of late, but Hanbin is primarily known for those off-tank heroes playing in the shadow of last year's Dallas Fuel roster. So being able to kind of come into his own, playing the Winston, the dive looks have been very strong from Dallas Fuel, but they have at least practiced for something like Tracer Echo Winston that we could see coming out of Panthera on this next map.
Especially with Edison. Panthera did try bringing that out at one point on AP, and Edison shut that down as quickly as he could at the very beginning. But Panthera were also very quick to then split that attention and focus down onto Edison so that way he wouldn't be that problem to help enable Nice at some points. Again, going into Numbani here, wondering if we're going to see some swap-ups specifically from Panthera. If it isn't going to be the Echo, are we going to see them stick to Tracer Stoneberg here? They want to try to match that into the Dallas Fuel that now have a pretty solid dive.
Well, the biggest difference from what we saw in Icebreaker is that Hanbin was on the Junker Queen and never wanted to swap off of that. So he could just go over to the Diva or the Winston this time around. I would love to know if he wants to stick to that, but just wanted to hear the cheers from the crowd first, because the players are definitely living for that.
Like even if they're not playing on a stage right now, the audience that still makes their way to watch these games there in the studio are my favorite. Those are the dedicated Overwatch League fans that we absolutely love. And we're bringing it out. All right, Bliss, Sparkle. We're seeing the Mercy into the Echo, which is going to be the difference maker. Looking on Panthera's side, Becky doesn't have that pocket.
No, Becky doesn't have that pocket, but Becky is one of those Echoes that's really good at staying alive. Very self-sustainable, can go duck behind cover if necessary, and stay within the sightlines of Develop, who has better sights on the defense than what MCD would have, which is why the Mercy is an even better choice for the attacking team rather than the defense. But Dallas need to find a way to get Edison into a position, because that's really what this Ash pick is for. Not just to be able to snipe out Becky, but also to try to push Arpen's Winston back.
Just a tad bit late with that focusing beam from Becky. It would have been a huge opportunity off of that nice anti from Develop. Another anti onto Edison. Still manages to stay alive constantly. Here comes Hanbin though. Something else to note. Being on this Diva, not the Winston this time. Still, on Numbani allows you to elevate yourself onto that high ground. Provides a lot of that verticality. Duplicate now coming in from Sparkle. Is going to be able to get the copy off of the Ana. But Panthera going for a counter rotate over to the side here. They're going to be able to give this free real estate over to the Dallas Fuel.
Ooh, that Coach Gun was ready, though, to be able to bop Arpen off of the high ground, and they're going to have to see Develop actually invest the Nano Boost to get Arpen back into the action.
Was a patience there for the Nano from Develop. They put it onto Arpen here. They try to clear up some space, but they're still giving all this free time and progress to Dallas Fuel before now making their way over. It's the rally from Slay. Patience, can it pay off here? The Valkyrie had been used up from Blitz before. Hanbin created some of that space with the Diva Bomb too. managed to boot him off from that mech. Maybe D.Va not going to exist anymore on the battlefield, as Edison also is going to go down with the bomb. That would have been a huge opportunity for the Dallas Fuel to stall on that point even longer, but Panthera, it does look like the patience pays off. They were able to re-engage between the rally and the nano boost, and from that duplicate from Becky, Dallas will have to reset.
That was a lot that Panthera had to use to try to keep this defense under their control. Dallas Fuel almost walked away with that first point capture and unlocked the payload. But an early duplicate from Sparkle. Sparkle's like almost gonna lap Becky. That's the power of the Mercy damage boost right there to make sure that Sparkle has that control.
Focusing beam though onto Edison. MCD does have that nano ready. Sparkle also has that duplicate. Sparkle already making moves though, being able to retaliate, being able to also find develop. No nano online here. And with Becky being out of the equation, Arpen finds the backline vulnerable here. This helping us Sparkle for now before the duplicate now comes in, but it's the stall potential and these picks from Sparkle that are just going to allow Edison to come right back into the picture, allow the Dallas Fuel to have the number advantage. Hanbin is still in the mech somehow here. As that pulse bomb sends it out, he clears out the back, gets the 3K, while earlier on he had gotten 2 other members of Panthera and cleaned out that team with some help. Dallas Fuel ready to get this payload moving.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, I cannot believe that Hanbin stayed alive there. I was at like 10 HP, I don't even know. Just decided to hide behind the wall, give a little bit of that ult charge over
Sparkle,
to
help
MCD
me.
and Bliss. Hey, listen, I think Sparkle's doing plenty right now. It's been amazing, though, to see Dallas Fuel come back into peak form. They are going to switch completely off of kind of that Ashe D.Va that they started with and go over to a more traditional comp for this match. This is what they did yesterday versus the Spark as well, with the Tracer Winston and the Brig.
Oh, here he comes. Sparkle gets taken out by Arpen. The nano boost onto Becky, though, helped delete Sparkle with that focusing beam. And they have a bunch of ultimates to work with here. A lot on their plate. Edison's nearing that pulse bomb here too, but they're just going to hold on to it. Nice patience here from Panthera while they control that other corner.
High ground. Panthera's getting in so low.
They're hugging them back to the spawn. Arpen and Becky. The duo shoulder to shoulder while Nice makes his appearance here. It's another cleanup. Becky just hovering over their spawn point, just waiting for them.
Look at Nice, too. Wants the perfect yeet of the pulse bomb. Dallas Fuel actually going towards the back of that spawn opening as that card starts to work way back. But Panthera ready to pounce as soon as Hanbin moves in.
Oh, nice. Sticky bombs right there. That forced Nice to utilize that recall. Can Fuel take advantage of that? Hanbin takes onto the high ground for now. Edison, though, gets taken out again by Arpen. He's playing this space so well, so aggressive, and with the nano boost, that's going to be the initiator from Sparkle with some help from MCD to take care of 3. It's Arpen Slade developed going down, and Slade did have that rally ready, which would have been important here to continuously hold that corner, but it's just going to have to be another reset for Panthera.
They have too many members down at this point for Panthera to be able to utilize that. And they would love to be able to save that rally as well for when the going really gets tough on this second objective. And at this point, Dallas Fuel, when they want to capture this, probably want to throw as many things as they can at it. And they do have 4 in the tank to be able to do so and just overwhelm with ultimates. So Slay's rally becomes even more important. Unless, okay, Becky's just going to go ahead and drop blood on a Sparkle to kick things off.
Yeah, it was a trade-off too, and that was the assurance from MCD who had gotten the ante onto Becky originally, allowing Hanbin to get the follow-up. Hanbin's going to sleep after he activates the Primal, a huge ante from MCD onto Slay, and Nice, but with the rally activated from Slay, they're going to be able to restabilize just as quick. Less than 40 seconds now on the clock for the Dallas Fuel to get to the second checkpoint. They're right there as well, but Arpen putting in so much pressure, building up that space while Nice holds the other off angle.
And that's why that rally was so important.
Wow.
Draw that time, and that duplicate just gets deleted? No way!
When you're in a bad spot to get out of jail card, you unleash the focusing beam. You go down with the fight. Becky with the duplicate as well. Hanbin gets taken out, but they inch their way, still being able to get that payload. Oh no, we didn't get the overhead originally. I wouldn't be surprised if that was Edison.
No, 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 no.
They were holding
They
that.
had that! Oh, Panthera have wanted to play such an awkward completely focused high ground fight for these engages, going all the way up to the spawn, going so far away from the objective that was only like 1.5 meters away, that they gave Dallas Fuel an extra 1.5 minutes now, and extra card progress. Unbelievable! They had played that so nicely, having the rally at the ready just to make sure that Dallas Fuel could not use those 3 ultimates that they had. And with only the duplicate left and then deleting Sparkle, that should have been it. That should have been the defense. But Panthera, they've got to go again, and Dallas Fuel with enough time to build up through another rotation of ultimates.
Wow. They do have less than 40 seconds on the clock here, though, with Becky getting that focusing pick onto Sparkle. Just get hit with an anti. Arpen's insane. His awareness and just calling out when Hanbin wants to jump in, then to reposition, has been on point. He's just wasting their time and sees the opportunity. They're stuck in that room. Gets ahead of himself. Nice follows up with that pulse bomb. Becky comes in with that sticky bombs. The backline is out, and they're hugging their spawn room doors again. They're wasting more of their time.
Well, I at least hope that nobody's able to sneak past them and go sink the cart into the 3rd objective. Because if that happened again, I think my mental would be boomed for the rest of this series. So at least that's why Develop is going to sit on card.
Nice activation of the overtime. Currently saw Edison proc that here. The rally called in from Blizz. Hanbin going down, though, huge in favor for Panthera. He had the primal, the survivability was there. Duplicate to duplicate, and Sparkle says, all right, we don't have Hanbin, but I'll be Hanbin just for this time before getting absolutely demolished, booted out of the duplicate. Does buy them enough time with the overtime still burning away for Hanbin to come back. Edison is the next to fall. The duplicate has ended its time as now Arpen gets a 3K. Gets put to sleep here on the other side is nice. He almost got the 4K onto MCD, but they've successfully hold back the Dallas Fuel. Arpen, he is him. He's got 17 elims. He's been able to buy in so much space.
He is him and he is Angie. And he should be, because of what happened on the end of that second point. So yeah, you would really hope that Arpen would be able to come in clutch with all those different primal rages. Just make sure that the cart can actually get stopped where it should have been before. But you know what? It's fine. It's fine. I want to watch this again, though, because it's actually quite impressive.
Edison was going to die there anyways, too, off that anti. Sparkle says, oh no, my head touched the roof. Can't fly anywhere after that. They were all funneled here, and he had the nano on him, too, so much space. Once again, that damage, the pressure coming in from Arpen in the perfect moment. But I love the calls that we saw from Panthera, even from the very beginning, Necro, when they allowed Dallas Fuel to get some of that extra credit on the point. They were just waiting for the rotation of that backline ultimate to come online between the Rowling and the Nano.
They have made some amazing plays, like with that one, what a great example, and also the way that they played out some of the other matches earlier on in the stage. But that also does lead to problems if they aren't in sync or in time enough, and sometimes they get a little carried away with those positions. But I'm pretty confident that Panthera can bring this back. Even though that cart got a little bit of extra real estate, Panthera's Echo has been so strong. And very much a masterclass of how Becky and Arpen operate as a duo to make these dives.
It's even crazier, too. At one point, that was Becky dipping them while we had Sparkle have the Mercy and MCD landing those antis. That just really ties in together Becky's influence being on this Echo themselves here. Just waiting for initiating. More aggression, hand in hand with Arpen off this high ground. You mentioned it before, Necra. It's about the fight for the high ground here that they've been able to have so much success on. With Dallas Fuel holding this position, Hanbin jumps away on the other side, just tries to split that focus. And currently the focus for Panthera is to try to delete this backline. Gets put to sleep. Becky comes in, though. The insurance policy on the focus of being to find Hanbin. This is them having the advantage. They have the number advantages, and this is going to be able to allow them to cross through that choke point. Tries to harass Sparkle to move back.
That was after MCD had landed a huge ante onto the back line of Panthera, too. No follow-up, though, when Hanbin gets taken out after trying to initiate on that dive, and how Dallas Fuel now have to be the ones that play Panthera's game. Do they go back in for the recontest here? And it's going to be Edison that tries to touch with Nano Boost.
Nano Boost onto Becky. Becky's also got to get the duplicate here, the focus and beam to do the deed onto Sparkle. Thank you for putting me to sleep in the safety of Arpen's bubble. He gets deleted immediately, though, as Bliss had used that rally to contest him. Comes in right afterwards, takes care of the DPS lineup, but you have no follow potential after that. There's MCD and Bliss, and Edison falls in right afterwards. It's a reset from the Dallas field while Panthera gets this payload moving.
With 4 minutes and 40 seconds to work with. Yeah, and they get a chance to move so far forward. Nice aggressive stance to be able to play on top of the bus and high ground. And Develop is looking for a really nice target. This is where that mechanical skill from being a DPS player really comes into play for this flex pick. You've got great trajectory on your sleeps. The mechanics of being able to hit those nades are really nice as well. So pay attention to how Develop also opens up these fights with sleep if Hanbin jumps in a little bit too over-aggressive, and even just a way to activate Becky's duplicate and focus beam.
He's waiting. Knows where the backline is. Wants to isolate Bliss and MCD. Literally, just watching a hunting documentary right now before he tries to initiate, gets put to sleep here. Sparkle, get him! But the bouncer that is Arpen stands right in front of them. Becky got woken up and tried to use the duplicate so that way he can iframe through some of that pressure, but then gets booted out and then deleted by Sparkle. What a nice little series of events that we got to witness right there with Arpen managing to back away in time. Sparkle gets the revenge that he needed. Has a duplicate that he's still holding on to here as well. And it's just Panthera, once again, being patient, waiting for Becky to initiate the opportunity to take back on that high ground.
Hanbin is getting so focused down, though. That had to be a very quick walk away from things, as Sparkle's now going to get the nano boost to try to get this duplicate into a position to help keep Panthera back. But look at how far back Arpen has jumped into enemy territory.
He was getting away with it for so long, eventually it was going to get punished, and that's what it cost here. Dallas Fuel get to win another fight as Panthera continue on the pressure. It's the Becky v Sparkle duel in the skies. Becky's already nearing another duplicate.
This time it's Becky that's really been trying to get the outpace here onto Sparkle's duplicate generation. Before, you had the Mercy boost to really help out that department, but now it's going to be a brick dupe here for Sparkle.
All right, tries to get that rally. Double rally, we always love that. That is to say, if they even need it here, considering the fact that Sparkle already deletes everybody in the side of this room here. And with that duplicate and the fall from Arpen blocking the other doorway, now Dallas Fuel are running away, backing away behind this point. The rally call in from Bliss right after that. Becky unfortunately misses that pulse bomb. Flying away here. Almost got hit with that whip shot, it looked like. As Edison holds forward, Panthera, it's another reset.
What a nice engage with the duplicate, though, because that got out the rally from Bliss's pocket. And something that's really impressive about watching Panthera execute these fights is they will go in even if they have a number disadvantage and still be able to force out critical ultimates from their opponents. Like the rally, no longer available to help bolster up this defense from Dallas when it's going to be a great tool to have against something like the Primal Rage and the Nano coming online from Panthera.
Cannot miss those pulses. Nice and Edison here, but that would have been a bigger impact. Well, actually, it was within the same area. Develop and MCD were going to have that nano for this fight. MCD holding on to it first. Arpen getting put to sleep. Primo activated here, just wasted some of that time away while trying to isolate Dallas Fuel from underneath the bridge again. That's going to be Arpen's playground while in the skies. Becky follows up with a focusing beam. Nano boost put onto Arpen as he tries to chase down Hanbin, the last member from the Dallas Fuel. All enabled by Develop here, by the way. They get that second checkpoint finally, and they got 2 minutes to work with.
Great nades, great sleeps. Develop really has been the perfect support to fill in that gap that Panthera needed in the backline. And with the use of the nano boost, you're going to have Becky with the duplicate coming online very shortly, and you've also got the rally. Nice is already in your backline with a pulse bomb in his pocket.
That's what we needed to see. That's what we needed to see. But still, MCD unleashed the nano right before he got stuck with that pulse bomb. Can it do enough, though? It doesn't. Sparkle didn't have the duplicate. Hanbin and MCD were down. And now the Dallas Fuel are falling like flies. Nobody left to contest on this payload here. Panthera are walking it through to the shiny box of victory. They take map number 2.
A tied series, you say? Looks like Dallas Fuel were not able to learn from their misgrievances on Numbani yesterday versus the Hangzhou Spark. That were running the same composition. Dallas, they did try, though. I appreciate them going and sticking to the Tracer Echo Winston early on that defense rather than trying out the Ashe and the Echo. But on the defense, like the Ashe and the Echo actually becomes even better. So I'm not really sure what's been going through their minds here in terms of approaching these attacks and these defenses. But great job to Panthera for getting themselves on the board.
Yeah, they needed that too. Dallas has just not had a fun time on Numbani. Unfortunate for them. That was map number 2. After this break, we got map number 3 underway. Welcome back, everybody. We got a tied series on our hands. Panthera, they win it out on Numbani. Not a great map, it looks like, for the Dallas Fuel, unfortunately, and this is where the tides had turned in their previous series for Stongdo Spark. Now, though, this is Panthera at the end of the day. We got map number 3 going on to Watchpoint Gibraltar.
Watchpoint Gibraltar is another map that you could look at and consider it a classic Winston dive. So expect Panthera to stick to more of the tried and true. Tracer Echo could absolutely work on this map, maybe even going back over to the Tracer Sombra. But Dallas need to start figuring it out. And it feels like they're just kind of getting fancy with it. If I'm going to be honest with you, Dallas Fuel, they don't really have a whole lot to play for besides the first or second seed. They win, they get first seed. If they lose, they get second. Either way, they're in a different bracket than Seoul Infernal, and I think that's really all that they care about right now. And maybe also care about maybe not having to face Hangzhou Spark again in that bracket. But this could just be time for them to experiment a little bit more with ways to be able to best some of those trickier opponents. Opponents like Panthera that are going to be leaning more into a one-track kind of style with the Tracer Echo or the Tracer Sombra.
Experiment, ego check. You know, Dallas Fuel, they know seeds 1 through 4 do get that bye here too. So trying to see what they can work into their own lineup with as much practice as they have and the adjustments that they've made. It's come a long way here. Again, we are going on to Watchpoint Gibraltar next for our map number 3. And currently, the Fuel are 6-1 on Escort. So they have a nice record in comparison to Panthera, who are currently 2-5.
That's stark. That is a big difference in win-loss percentage on Escort maps in particular. And one of the reasons why Fuel has been so good with the Escort maps is because of just how aggressive they've been able to play. They're a momentum-based team, and they do really, really well getting pick after pick and forcing the defense to be unable to set up. And if they're able to grab those first picks, then they're winning the fights like 9 times out of 10, unless some extraordinary ultimate comes online. On Panthera's side, they have struggled on this map type, especially because of some of the opponents that they've faced, but also because they've still been working on that synergy between RPen and Develop, with Develop's Ana really bolstering up RPen's confidence to play a more aggressive game, which is why Panthera have started to turn that around.
That's what I love. I love being able to see our former DPS players like shine some of that aggressive playstyle into the way that they have now changed up their role. In this case, you know, Develop now playing on that support role as Ana, helping to enable RPen. Really nice stuff here from the backline of Panthera. Edison swapping back to the Sombra, though, may spell doom for the pack line.
Love this. Dallas Fuel really have been trying to get a little bit creative. I'm not a... Uh-oh. No, Hunbin, no! Oh, he overstayed his welcome.
Wow,
they actually just didn't want to let him in.
From RPen. That was such a good bubble
knocked on
from
the door.
RPen. He put that bubble there in placement, knowing that Hunbin was going to try to run away to try to get healing from MCD and Bliss in their line of sight, but that bubble didn't let that happen. That was great.
Oh my god, that's so bad.
I mean, it was a big pick here for Panthera. They're definitely going to be able to run away with a lot of extra credit already. That payload's going down the car wash.
Yeah, it's going to pass that checkpoint so fast. And Hunbin is back, but just look at how much Develop has been able to charge up the Nano in this time. You have RPen that has stayed alive to tank a bunch of damage, so Develop is getting a ton of healing down. Sadly, Becky is going to fall to the same type of issue that Hunbin did, but they're still duking it out on this high ground.
He's nearing that duplicate. Edison close to that EMP. I was about to get that Nano. Playing patiently overhead Becky. Backing away here, forced to give some of that extra space over to Dallas Fuel. Meanwhile, RPen and Hunbin having a little too much fun over in that side room. Nano Boost is available here for Develop, for MCD, but MCD will be able to get it for this fight. Nano Boost onto Becky, but they lose out on Nice. That will be on duel happening over to the side room where the health pack is, won by Sparkle. Becky gets hacked, so currently nearing that duplicate before trying to re-engage. Dallas Fuel are working with a plethora of ultimates too. Ooh, EMP now coming in, isolating RPen, and now the follow-up from Edison. They thought that they could funnel everybody into that side room. Becky managed to get away from that EMP originally and now gets that duplicate on board. Hand in hand between Slay and Develop, but Develop needs to back away. He's literally won after a huge anti came in from MCD. Rally activated from Slay, and this is just going to allow the rest of Panthera to play a much more forward position.
Ooh, the Pulse Bomb coming out there as well is going to chunk Hanbin down before he's able to get back to the rest of his team and pop the Primal. But now it's Sparkle's turn with that Pulse Bomb. See if he can land that mark onto somebody like Slay and Develop in the back, but Hanbin's going to beat him to the punch.
Develop and Slay backline deleted from Panthera. Well, did land a nice cheeky anti onto Bliss and MCD, but no follow-up here while Edison has already harassed the DPS. Arpin running away back to the hands of his team because they have to go for a reset here.
One of the reasons why I like this Sombra choice from the Dallas Fuel instead of leaning more into something like the Ashe Echo or like the Tracer Echo is that Edison is able to get these hacks down onto a really nice target. If you're able to ground Becky, it's much easier to keep that Echo in check and make sure that they can't get the better of your backline. And we were already sub 1 minute territory. As you can see, MCD and Bliss still set up on the blue box with Edison at the ready with the EMP.
Double bubble sent out here too. The sticky bombs landing onto Hanbin. Edison's positioning is just waiting for Panthera. Oh, they caught him. It's fine. Priority here from Nice is to be able to take a much more forward position while Becky's raining from the skies. But Edison's going to be using this EMP in lieu with the Rally and the Nano to see how they can try to take this fight without hurting too much. Here comes that Rally. Huge heal coming in that engagement. Here comes that EMP, though. Deletes the bubble, takes it off the board, and then the follow-up from Edison. Becky also got caught into that, and they get caught into a huge shield bash. That's going to spell demise for Becky. Nice manages to get away, but they have less than 10 seconds on the clock to proc the overtime.
Dallas Fuel already set and activated the trap. And now Panthera can't really get back in time to touch. It's going to be Arpen that has to jump in. Nice is going to be able to trigger the overtime, but you got to be able to come back as a team of 5 and with Nice Pulse Bomb. Get a pick now, but the anti onto the Slay and Develop backline is good.
Oh, Arpen's literally one, managed to get away, has a health pack right there too. Here comes a duplicate, immediately shut down with that sleep from MCD. Boots the duplicate off from the table as overtime is ticking away here. Nice got that pulse. He has to make this impactful. Slay activates the Rally, sets him up for position. The backline from the Dallas Fuel getting harassed. Huge anti from Bliss. And the follow from Arpen isolates them in their own entrance, just trying to navigate around here so they can help out the rest of the Dallas Fuel. But they've been separated from Arpen. Hanbin does the same thing to Develop with the Primal, tries to jump right back in after taking care of Becky, but not enough heads from the Dallas Fuel to contest Panthera on that payload. They are able to send it through.
Entering into the hangar phase, Arpen is going to be able to just take control of this spaceship so early. As Dallas, they had to expend everything. Edison, though, already to another EMP. So that could be a way to just stop this cart in its tracks before it gets too much real estate at the second point. Yeah, Edison's hunting for it.
He sees red. The moment he sees everybody stuck in the ship, activates that Primal, force him off before he comes right back in. Bliss popping the Rally while they drop down from that high ground. It's about clearing the space here to help enable the rest of Panthera in this position, but they're funneled up, grouped up together, stuck like a bunch of sardines in the can. And with that EMP, the follow-up is beautiful between Edison and Sparkle. They clean up Panthera, and it's going to be a reset here for that team.
Okay. Well, Bliss and Sparkle are down. Maybe Panthera can take advantage of this a little bit as Nice is hunting for a health pack. Just be able to keep harassing the reinforcements of Dallas Fuel as they enter back into a hangar. And this card has already moved significantly far. It's already towards that end of the second checkpoint. Becky's got the duplicate too. The Ana dupe would be very good here. Try to put someone to sleep. Maybe even have a value target like Hanbin to stop him. Oh, he's looking forward to any one of the backline supports would be a good dupe here.
Oh, if that is to say, may hold on to it here, or maybe actually stall. Managing to back away with Arpen and Nice going down. That follow potential from Arpen is just deleted, and Nice as well. So they're just going to back away for now, and they want to regroup here with the limited time bank that they're working with.
So one more attempt, and Panthera can come back into this next attack with into a Sparkle Pulse Bomb. And this is where things start to get really tough. There hasn't been time for Becky to get in position to use this duplicate.
Oh no.
Because it's constantly been Sparkle or Hanbin, anybody in the back. Dallas Fuel's completely shutting down these pushes.
The immediate turnaround stick on the pulse, even with the shield up. More delaying here as Sparkle has just been on a tear. Becky's still holding on to that duplicate, but Slay's about to have this rally, and it's all for nothing here for Panthera on this fight.
Sparkle and nice to duking it out on the Tracer. Becky tries to touch as well, but Hanbin's gonna hold the door.
Overtime? The point? Oh, but there's nobody else left. They can't. Slay was too busy up in the high ground there too, with Becky, Arpin, and Nice getting taken
Sparkle
out.
farming.
That only left that only left the backline vulnerable. Sparkle was too busy eating in those doorways.
He was feasting. Everybody that tried to approach the cart just... Oh my goodness. Like, this is why the Sombra Tracer works so well from Dallas. It's like not just the EMPs that come through from Edison, but the way that Edison and Sparkle are able to hunt down the same targets. This is the momentum we were talking about too. A first pick from Dallas has a very high success rate for a team fight win for them, with just how well they're able to use that momentum to swing the rest of the fight in their favor. And with the Sombra too, I mean, Becky just didn't really have space to work with because of how well Edison was marking that down. Maybe that's something else Dallas can continue to lean into because, quite frankly, the Sparkle Echo wasn't as impressive as Becky's to hold its own in those scenarios.
That's why I was really happy to see Edison just roll out with the Sombra, clipping those wings.
Here's another one. What's...
Getting ready here. Edison's gonna go for a cheeky pick off the rip. Holding these different angles already too, getting set up here from Panthera's side. But overall, Nice and Becky were working very well together, but Sparkle was just on another level.
That was close. Okay. Yeah, we saw the Symmetric Teleporter from Sparkle just in case they wanted to try to close the gap on Panthera, but it will be the Sombra Tracer dive once again from Dallas, and this just is the look that they have proven to be successful on. Again, an undefeated streak, and then when they tried to switch things up against Huntress Spark yesterday, their game plan kind of fell apart. So Dallas, they know how to execute these comps. We've seen some fantastic examples on the defense. They just now have to turn it on its head and get the attack.
Navigating through the low ground right here too. Managing to get the payload right through the car wash first. It's Nice meeting up Sparkle on the other side, while Becky and Arpen still shoulder to shoulder. Sees Humpin just trying to press Arpen, but the payload's still getting that extra progress. The 2v1 against Nice here, and Edison and Sparkle. Sparkle was playing underneath that low ground, off by the car wash here. But it's so that way they could get some of that extra credit. Splitting up some of the attention that Nice could be putting onto MCD and Bliss if he had that opportunity. Nice hack though onto Becky. That's what we're talking about. Can't fly away just yet though, but cannot finish the job. Sparkle fights Nice. Becky manages to survive. The nano boost was put onto Slay. Was the harassment from Hanbin originally here. Becky falls low once again, about to get that duplicate, and the Sparkle pulse bomb as Slay gets away with that shield. The initial target was Slay and developed right there. Becky falls susceptible, and the EMP, the nail in the coffin to clear out the rest of Panthera.
I don't even think they needed that. Quite honestly, I understand the idea. Just shut down Slay's ability to use the rally at all. Just go ahead and destroy the backline there, but there was also no other reinforcements. That's just sending a message. Edison's like, I'm done with this. I'm done with all of you. We're gonna go ahead and try to take the map right here and now as they enter into the hangar phase and they've got the nano to try to keep this pressure up. But Panthera desperately trying to push them back, stuff them back towards spawn.
Took Numbani personally here, and you can see it right now. 3 ultimates to work with. Becky uses the duplicate. They have to make a statement as Arpen though does find MCD. The hack comes in as well, but with Becky having that duplicate, nearing a nano already, he can send it out before he's forced off this duplicate. Arpen has the nano boost put onto him. He's also got that primal. Nano boost is going to already run out after the duplicate gets booted out, and Becky set right back to the spawn room door. Love the follow-ups here that we're seeing from Nice, but Develop finding Edison. Won't be able to charge up into that EMP. Sparkle's just been a menace this whole time. Literally a fly that Arpin's just trying to swat away.
Sparkle has been so good. Like, the Tracer was so impressive already when we were looking at Antarctic Peninsula. And once again, we get a chance to see why Sparkle's Tracer is still considered one of the absolute best in the business. That's going to be another pulse bomb at the ready. And this entire match, like, Sparkle's just been so consistent. 10 final blows, leading the team right now. And 2 pulse bomb sticks for pulse bomb.
Oh, and a boost here and a huge anti onto the backline too, but no follow potential. Slay gets hit with an anti himself. Arpin finally jumps onto Bliss, prevents him from restabilizing here. 2 minutes, 50 seconds on the board, and the Dallas Fuel. The backline is getting torn apart by Arpin. He's forced to hold forward, forced to find Hanbin. He's got to deal with all the pressure himself here, and Becky gives some of the support that he can, finding Sparkle as that last member.
Right,
Nope, not today. Not today.
Oh, man. They're so close to getting this objective. Panthera have to play flawlessly, and they still have 2.5 minutes that they need to keep Dallas Fuel away from this payload. There's not a whole lot they can really do against this EMP right now, except to try to play architecturally around it. Addison knows where Slay is. That is going to be the primary target of this EMP. Shut down the ability for Arpin to get aggressive.
Oh, huge first pick onto Sparkle. That's been the problem here, but with Edison finding Slay, Develop still has that nano ready. Huge anti onto Becky. Follow-up, it's literally one. Hanbin found him here. The nano boost now onto Arpin. It's just Develop, Arpin, and Nice here. Slay made his way back, and MCD going down. This is so close to getting this rally too. Arpin's trying to back away. He's literally sandwiched though in between Bliss and Sparkle inside of that ship. Manages to get away before re-engaging onto the high ground. Nice is now trying to sandwich his backline, but with Bliss now having the rally online, Panthera have a plethora of ultimates to work with just to answer right back. Arpin, with the green light in his eyes, he jumps right on top of that high ground, activating the primal. They don't want to waste too much here though, because Hanbin's about to get the primal himself.
Hanbin has already taken back high ground control too, as Dallas Fuel still need to step back, take a deep breath, and see how they're going to try to re-engage this card, especially because the backline is just down again. And that is a minute and a half that Panthera have already wasted off this clock again. So we are at 1 minute territory for Dallas Fuel to get this done. And Panthera, against all odds, are starting to clutch this up. Vicky, they went through an EMP. They sustained through the pulse bomb, the rally as well. And Dallas Fuel don't really have gas in the tank, but they've got tank in the tank. They've got the primal. That's kind of all that they have to work with right now, unless Sparkle's going to try to clutch up too. But this is it, 35 seconds.
All right, sends out the pulse bomb, and also with Becky using that duplicate, they didn't have to use or rely on Develop getting a nano quickly. Now they can have that nano for this fight as to match MCD. Nicely getting put onto Hammond, and an anti on top of that. He got deleted. Now they have less than 20 seconds on the clock, and Becky getting that pick is going to be a big deal as MCD goes down next, leaving Bliss, Sparkle, and Edison here. And Edison EMP would have to be the saving grace, as everybody from this side room, Dallas Fuel, have been wiped out. Sparkle's going to try to proc the overtime if he can, but nobody left here. Instead, it's Hanbin off the high ground. He forces it coming in, and here comes that saving grace on the EMP. It's found Develop. Arpin's won, but with Slay finding Edison and no follow-ups, there's nobody left from the Dallas Fuel. Not even the change from the Kiriko to desperately push onto the point is going to help the Dallas Fuel. Panthera now sit at match point.
Panthera really came alive with so much time. They needed to keep Dallas Fuel in check on that defense. And the fact that they got that done is incredibly impressive. Panthera over the course of this season have just looked better and better, whether it's Arpen coming in to be able to play the Winston or Develop coming in on the Ana. Through and through, the adjustments have been made, and this squad is looking fantastic. We're at match point, and after the break, we'll see if Dallas Fuel can bring it back on map number 4.
Welcome back, everybody. Welcome to APAC, where anything can happen. Panthera currently sit at match point versus the Dallas Fuel. We're moving on to map number 4 on New Queen Street.
Didn't think we would see this. Like, after what happened with Hangzhou Spark yesterday, yeah, okay, but chalk it up. Maybe a couple flounders here or there. Hangzhou Spark also played out of their gourds. Not totally out of the question that maybe Dallas Fuel just got outplayed. But when taking a look at some of the mistakes they made on Gibraltar, can't help but wonder if, are they getting complacent? Are they overconfident? Is there a communication error happening here or there? Or are they just kind of practicing? No, it's hard to tell how much this individual match means, because it is their last one of the Summer Stage Qualifiers, where they're already not going to be facing the bracket of death with Soul Infernal again. But they still want to win, right?
Look, all I'm going to highlight here from Panthera's side, because we got to highlight all the amazing pieces that make up Panthera here on this contender squad, is Arpen is him. He did so well, and not only that, we have to talk about the shutdowns from Develop. His consistency with the antis, and every single time Hanbin had the nano on him, he tried to jump in to harass that backline, always put to sleep. He was taking the longest snap in total, if you calculate the amount of times that he was put to sleep, and every time he was trying to go for an engagement. That, in combination with Arpen following up with Becky, it was just very difficult for Dallas Fuel to deal with, especially in that second point where you're still playing close quarters on that ship part.
Absolutely. And I love that you brought that up, because I think that's an even more genuine answer of what's happening here, is that Panthera are simply just playing really well. Yes, like, part of it is maybe Dallas Fuel using ultimates at a poor time or not thinking farther ahead into some of the next fights, but Panthera, at the end of the day, their development as a team has just consistently been getting better and better. And today is also a great example. I think if you looked at Panthera at the beginning of this stage, and you looked at how Dallas Fuel were performing, I don't think anybody would have on their bingo card that Panthera could very well just get a gentleman's sweep here and win out this next map and win the series. But that's what's in front of us right now. That's what's on the table. And so much credit to Arpen's aggressive Winston, like you said. And of course, Becky's Echo, making it so difficult for Dallas Fuel to figure out how to deal with it. And it hasn't been just Dallas that has struggled with that Echo in particular.
Yeah. I've seen a few teams out here struggle on dealing with a lot of these echoes, especially when it comes to the map pool that we're currently have on our hands for this week here too. It's been able to enable a lot more of that verticality, a lot more of that open space, the high skyline here too. Immediately rolling out the gates though, we still have that Sombra Tracer coming out to match that with Panthera.
Makes a lot of sense, because the Echo just does not have nearly as many routes to operate from with these buildings. It's a little bit too small, not too many places to hide from, but still, it's not going to stop Arpen from drawing first blood onto Edison, taking that Sombra out immediately.
Wow, huge anti. Nice, coming in from MCD, but then he gets hacked immediately right afterwards, and Becky gets a follow-up. But that's the backline out for Panthera. Dallas Fuel, their backline are going to meet each other back in the spawn doors as well. Well, Becky takes a different off angle, trying to pull Hanbin to him. And this is great here too. Nice being able to get that hack on the health pack right next to that bot. It's going to allow Panthera to restabilize once they get right back into this fight.
Really nice to see that control go over to Nice immediately, and that's one of the things that you get when you're able to take out Edison Sombra immediately at the beginning of that first fight. But still jockey for position as the squad starts to move closer towards Dallas Fuel territory. Panthera are back immediately. We're not going to see too much valuable progress come through unless either of these tracers are able to open things up.
Becky has just been a thorn on the side of Dallas Fuel so far, even stalling on the bot while the rest of Panthera roll back in. Misses out though on that pulse bomb. Would have been crucial with Slay and Develop grouped up together on that bridge. Arpen gets hit with an anti, nearing that primal. Spark will have a much bigger impact with that pulse. We're gonna have to see here. Develop being able to find Hanbin, shutting him down again. That's just been the transition so far between Slay and Develop, dealing with the brawl that is Hanbin trying to dive them. He's going to be able to come in with the Primal, and Edison's going to unleash the EMP, but doesn't get the outcome that they were expecting off of it. Harper gets hit with an anti, and Becky is going to go crazy. Sure, Sparkle take that pulse bomb. Slay gets sacrificed for all the good reasons. It's a good cause here, while Becky now gets put into position to just get enabled and harass Sparkle.
That is the name of the game when it comes down to these dives versus dives. You're just trading your backline, and especially when RPEN is going to continue to get the upper hand of taking out MCD and Bliss, and even Sparkle in this case. Yeah, this is going to be a great way for Panthera to get back into the lead, take back control of this bot. And boy, did Develop's Nano come in to save the day for Becky to stay alive from that EMP hack and then be able to go in and get that 3K. Madison's back for more. Wants to try to charge up this EMP again and see who can come up to this first. But look at that. Nano 2. Becky already has another pulse bomb up. That's insane.
Gets it on quickly, and now he gets the pulse bomb stick here. But it's onto Hanbin, so he gets away, puts down that bubble. MCD, meanwhile, getting her ass over to the side. Looks at Bliss for some help. Has that Nano ready. Hanbin looking for the opportunity to maybe dive Develop, who's been the problem. Here's that backline here, getting pressed. Develop and Slay. They have the safety of the rally as it's going to get activated once again. Puts Hanbin to sleep the moment he comes in with the Primal. Nano boost still available for MCD just to help with the re-engage. A huge anti. If it's not the sleep, it's the anti. Then Hanbin gets hacked right afterwards from Nice, and they're forced to use the Nano, putting all the economy that they have into Hanbin to enable them, and they still haven't been able to boot Slay and Develop off of this high ground. Arpen is low. Was trying to help out Slay and Develop originally, and Nice is as well, and they are just going to be able to reset.
This focus fire onto Hanbin reminds me of how Panthera were able to get the reverse sweep onto Poker Face earlier on this week. It was just Muse being public enemy number 1 every single time. All of the cooldown investments heading into that Winston so that front line was not able to help communicate these dives to the rest of the team. Arpen does get taken down here, just shy of this bot being able to approach that first checkpoint. South Fuel are able to take back control, but we're going to have to see Edison get set up with this EMP. It's EMP versus EMP. And we've seen Nice just do a little bit better, especially when Develop has that Nano again to save someone from the EMP if they get hit.
Did help out with Sparkle getting that pulse bomb stick onto to Develop, who's been a huge problem too, just for Dallas Fuel to win that fight. They see him, he activates the EMP, he isolates Hanbin, and then the follow from Arpen. It doesn't matter if he doesn't get anybody else on the catwalk from the Dallas Fuel. Nano boost now put onto Arpen as Dallas Fuel are backing away. Hanging out behind that next corner here before trying to initiate from the high ground. Arpen already blocks off that pathway as he tries now to separate the back line. Activating the Primal. Misses out on that sleep dart though. MCD running for his life. A huge mistake that's going to cost him as he falls to the ground. Falls off the map thanks to that Primal. And it's the follow-up here too from Nice. The backline has been deleted. It's going to be a reset for the Dallas Fuel.
I think Becky followed them off of point 2, actually, when I saw that. Maybe self-elimination happening in the kill feed there. But this is great progress. Panthera can keep working with this. Slay is going to fall back a little bit to the team, but Panthera's game right now is to play keep away with the bot. Dallas Fuel got a chance to walk it back over into their territory, but Panthera have the pulse bomb still, the rally, just so much sustain entering into this next one. They don't really care if Dallas Fuel is going to be able to grab it here if they can get the stick.
Hanbin, every time he pops this Primal, he can't get anything working. He got put to sleep, he got stuck, he was forced to run away. He had 3 members of Panthera on him. Yeah, he got hacked, literally everything under the umbrella. He is not having a good time with these Primals, and that's been a key component to Panthera shutting down that one win con and allowing the rest of Fuel to have the space to work with. Edison does have that EMP, and that's been honestly the most success that they've been able to have to get these follow-ups.
Yeah, but even then, there hasn't been any eliminations from those EMPs. Edison gets 1, maybe 2. There's plenty of room for Develop to use the Nano to save somebody under the EMP umbrella. And look at that. Edison doesn't even have a chance to pop the EMP. It's just another team fight win for Panthera as that bot just keeps moving forward as Panthera over at Dallas Fuel spawn. Yeah, Becky blinked off. I thought. That's what I thought. That was actually just like a just in case.
Becky's hungry. Becky is hungry. Wants to shine alongside Arpen. The only thing that's shining though right now is the hack that's put above both their heads. Becky though gets to survive. Doesn't get the pulse bomb stick that they were looking for. Arpen will be able to come back with a primal, but look at this quick disengage from Panthera. The backline are trying to navigate away. Sparkle tries to cut off that rotation. Slay is getting harassed, stuck by the doorway, and body blocked by Hanbin over to the side, and they finally take care of both Slay and Develop in that interaction over in that side room.
That was after Edison had expended the EMP and the pulse bomb alongside it, so both DPS ults are off the board, with the spot barely making its way over to neutral now. And Edison is gonna farm a lot of charge off of Arpen, kind of forcing him back into spawn with the rest of the team, as the spot does start to make some progress for Dallas, but Ice is ready for an EMP of his own, and Panthera still have the lead. 2.5 minutes sub now. Develop is down.
Getting taken out first is going to be really big here. EMP from Nice onto MCD, but the rally from Bliss, while holding onto that nano, it's going to be beautiful here for the Dallas Fuel. I was looking at where Develop's positioning was originally there, and with him being the first one taken down, this could at least enable Hanbin just a bit to have some breathing room. But Becky finding Sparkle is going to put a thorn to the side, going to stop their plan here. Going back and forth with this bot, though, Panthera regain control. Becky's right here and is constantly pressing the Dallas Fuel into that side room, and Hanbin is trying to face off against him. Develop still has that nano ready, and Becky misses another pulse bomb. In the side room, though, Edison's got the EMP. Dallas Fuel have so much to work with here. It's really just Develop with that nano that Panthera has on the other side.
And the nano's going on to Arpen, though, to be able to hold the front line down. As here comes the EMP from Edison. It's going to be good onto the back line. But this bot is still moving towards Panthera territory again, without Dallas Fuel taking the lead.
I was going to say, surely Develop goes down here. There was really no backup that Develop had to work with once Slay went down, and they do finish him off. Sparkle comes right back to the bot. Good news, too, just being able to isolate Slay with that initial EMP. These initial picks that they could rely on when it comes to those more impactful ultimates.
60 seconds remaining.
Sub 60. Dallas Fuel really want to take back control right now, as the bot is finally going to get back towards that wall. Push it over the line as Sparkle's hunting for a target with this pulse bomb. Not going to miss, but look how low everybody on Panthera is already.
Arpen got away, but for how long before Hanbin pins you to the wall with the primal? Keeps you stuck there while Sparkle popping off. Yeah, they are able to get that second checkpoint, and now that's that 0.4 meters that they got right above Panthera too. So important, as the nano boost was used up on Hanbin, but the DPS lineup have been taken out by Develop and Arpen. Develop says, you know what, yes, I get taken out for being a little overly aggressive, but sometimes your DPS has to shine through into your support play.
All right, well, 10 seconds remaining, so overtime is going to activate as the spot starts to move back towards Panthera's side of the field, as Slay taking out MCD could open things up in a huge way. But Vicky, they've got to win 2 fights here. And first of all, have to get past the neutral, but you're going to see some touches come in from Sparkle and Edison to delay the spot progress, which is going to make it even harder, because we all know how sometimes this can go with Panthera. Sometimes they just let the objective go. They just forget about it. So let's hope they don't play themselves here.
Oh, we try to move around, but the EMP impact from Nice is even bigger. Finding 4 as Edison, I believe, only found 1. The rally to save the rest of Panthera, just to restabilize after they lost out on Arpen. Hanbin's still alive. He gets hacked by Nice. Becky's got that pulse from a nice anti onto Sparkle, and Bliss once again developed with these antis. Been on point, but no follow-up, no pickings. Overtime, still taking away, so this forces Panthera to only stay on this spot, now buying the extra space here. While Becky gets taken out, got hit with an anti too. Will go down with the pulse bomb in his pocket. Arpen activates the primal. Be careful, once again, he's just hugging that body. Can't go too far, just in case. They don't want to C9 this point like we have seen before earlier on in this series. Develop running away. He's got the health back there. Thank goodness it's already hacked, thanks to Nice. Clearly saw Hanbin back away, but there's not going to be any backup. No bodies left from Panthera. Dallas Fuel in a clutch moment to take map number 4 on New Queen Street.
That came down to the wire. Panthera had the lead on New Queen Street for so long until Dallas Fuel were able to get that bot over the checkpoint and start to whittle away the clock enough that once they had the lead, it was going to be very difficult for Panthera to be able to get it back. Even with some staggers there too, Panthera set themselves up into a good position, but Dallas really did play that endgame beautifully, knowing that this was a very back and forth mid-game fight.
Wow, Edison pushed up his glasses. He is in the game right now. Dallas Fuel even out the score 2-2 on this series. At the other side of this break, we got map number 5 on Lijiang Tower. Hello and welcome back, everybody. We got a tied series on our hands for our first match of the day. What a stealthy gigabanger we have here. And we are moving on to map number 5 on Lijiang Tower.
What else could we have expected, though? Because it's Dallas again. Dallas were a big factor in our premiere match yesterday versus the Hangzhou Spark. And once again, living up to what the fans are asking for, which is just more fantastic Overwatch. So hey, thanks Dallas Fuel for delivering.
Nerf. They're tired of it. They want to see different comps coming through. We want the flexibility.
Well, we have.
Hey, you know, maybe soon. Right
Ask
around
and
the
you
corner.
shall be delivered.
We got a huge update coming through. Can't wait for that. Can't wait to see how that's going to play into the comp changes in the Overwatch League. You get them. Definitely
But
expect
maybe
it
even
here.
on this map too, though.
Yeah, talking about the different comps. Talk to us a little bit, Necker, about Lijiang Tower, Dallas Fuel. We've seen them take out the rush. This is probably what we're going to expect going into this map. I mean, I could expect it here too. I mean, the one thing that I was rooting for when it came to Panthera and their current progress in New Queen Street was that was probably their last chance opportunity, looking at Lijiang and looking where Dallas Fuel have their strengths. And this is going to be that situation that Dallas Fuel are going to work into.
I agree with you. We saw Dallas Fuel and Hangzhou Spark kick off their series yesterday on Lijiang, which Dallas Fuel ended up winning 2-0. And a lot of that is off the back of some really smart Maywalls coming through from Sparkle and Hanbin being able to follow up and close the distance with the Junker Queen, allowing to just pull some key pieces out of the Hangzhou Spark's dive away from being able to operate the dive proper. So maybe we see that again? Unfortunately, the rest of the series, the Junker Queen didn't feel like it worked out as well as Dallas would have liked it to, but Arpen has been playing so aggressive that it does feel as though something like more of a committal into the anti-dive with the Mei and the Junker Queen may feel much better. And maybe even just throw the Ashe in there too. Just anything to make sure that you are really leaning more heavily into the Junker Queen side of things.
Yeah, especially seeing how often Hanbin has been shut down by the Panthera backline. We saw it constantly even on New Queen Street that they had won on, but we have to see that change up coming in, and it does look like that's the taste that we're going to get here. Panthera, Becky, sticking to the Echo here as well. We have to have a lot of that extra space to work with in the skybox.
Market is the perfect place to pull out the Echo. It is able to work on gardens as well, but it's to control center where I feel like we start to see some really interesting things. Let's go ahead and look at this first round as symmetric teleporters on both sides. Nice will switch off of that to be able to bring back out the Tracer. And Edison's going to stick to the Symmetra, and as Dallas Fuel make it to the point first, this is where operating with the Echo becomes a little bit trickier. You can see those Symmetric TPs kind of set up behind the point. Oh!
Develop's in trouble. They just jumped Develop in that side room. They literally chased after him through the teleporter and deleted him. Great awareness here from the Dallas Fuel. Yeah, we do usually see the Symmetra in loop with the Mei here as well. Nice MCD lamp here. They're just going to get enabled, and yeah, this is what I was worried about. The moment we saw that Lijiang was up next in our itinerary, Panthera, we're going to have problems, and it does look like we're seeing some swaps already.
It's going to be Slay going over to the Kiriko. Really nice to add a little bit of extra firepower, especially when you can do a quick 1-2 with the kunai. Try to take out those Symmetra turrets so that it's going to be easier for the rest of Panthera to move in and take back control at this point. Nice commanding shout, though, as Hanbin is going to start to get aggressive and swap away from the point just to be out of LOS of Panthera for now.
What's annoying here for Becky is to also deal
Whoa.
with the Symmetra setup and those turrets, but finding MCD first here is huge. They won't have the window in this fight. Becky's got the duplicate just in case. Doesn't find the mark that they were looking for with the focusing beam. Listen, Edison, get those first 2 picks that were crucial here for Panthera to delay this fight. Now it's back to the drawing board as they're going to go for the reset.
Where was MCD? Looks like kind of got caught out there by the rest of the Panthera dive. Doesn't really matter if Dallas Fuel can play around these TPs. Headed in from Edison and just maneuver themselves away from the dive itself. So Panthera have to commit a ton of cooldowns and potentially to just get completely kited.
That's huge here with the photon barrier over on the other side. Becky just looking for an entrance, trying to find and set up a situation where Panthera could go for the sandwich. Becky gets the duplicate though, while Sparkle goes crazy, finding Slay and nice. There goes a shot from Hanbin, just putting Dallas Fuel a lot more forward. Does cost Hanbin's life though. Develop gets that snipe, nice nade here. Arpen going down with the primal was big, unfortunately, and now with the blizzard that Becky was able to use before getting booted out of that duplicate, he gets sent right back to the spawn room doors. That's another team fight win for Dallas Fuel.
Dallas will get a hold on to this one, and Hanbin can come back with a commanding shout with everybody else, just to taxi them back to point a little bit faster. As Hedison places the TP down, tries to get away with his life before reinforcements come back, but look at that, the evo field is already out.
Yeah, the lamp was called in, had to delete not just the teleporter, but the lamp on top of that, but that's fine, because Becky has come through the window, and Nice cleans up the rest. Our Pen has found Bliss, and Edison here. It's just Sparkle left. Just delaying as long as possible, but it's just back to the drawing board because Panthera currently needed to retake this point. Literally 0% progress so far.
Yeah, that stall from Sparkle, good to be able to reward Dallas Fuel with 99% on the board. And with ultimates to spare, you see Panthera get really aggressive because they kind of have to play this Hail Mary style. As, oh, RP gets called back! It's time for Gracie to see some action.
Oh my, the Rampage for real. The Warden has called in, and she is catching in the check. They immediately retake the point just like that. Slay is right there, but hanging out from behind, while Dallas Fuel have so much to work with. This is Dallas Fuel in their element. Does proc the overtime here. Bliss now being able to find Slay. Had to touch that point. Arpen immediately backing away after utilizing that primal. Becky's about to get the duplicate on board too. Just trying to find a way to navigate through that side entrance while Nice is playing from behind the point, develop from afar, trying to find Hanbin just by himself though. He's separated from the rest of the team and he's about to get Nano. Overtime taken away here though, and Nice isn't on the point. Becky was also right there too. Unfortunate, but they were feeling the pressure, honestly. Even at that point, yes, they could have continuously fought in overtime, but the Dallas Fuel really planted their feet on that point.
That was why after Panthera took control, after Dallas Fuel had already captured the 99%, we saw them just play so aggressive. Because you got to get those first picks, and if not, then this round is going to be over before you know it. Yeah, like, this is where Sparkle, Hanbin, like, this is why this Mei Junker Queen strat really does work for them in this rush comp. And it works even better for them looking at where we're headed next. This is Control Center. This is the map the round Panthera did not want to see. Unless they've got an ace up their sleeve, Dallas Fuel are looking poised to be able to take this map, this round, and the series.
But look at this change up. Arpen being on the Ryan, it's so hard to look at the Winston play into this Junker Queen from Hanbin. And I like this change up here too. Nice Becky trying to match up between Edison and Sparkle. They've already taken a much more aggressive approach. These walls from Nice are fantastic, blocking every rotation that we've currently seen from the attempt of the Dallas Fuel. Sparkle falls low here, but gets the pickup to develop. It's only safe for the sustainability, and the number advantage automatically goes to Dallas Fuel. Panthera now, it's back to the drawing board for them as well here, as unfortunately for Slay, he gets staggered.
And with the setup that Dallas Fuel have with this rush comp, you've got the Symmetra once again able to set up those turrets either by this first choke entrance or even by the point. And then Sparkle with the Mei, that is so difficult to dislodge once that has been set up on the defense. We've seen how impactful these walls from that Mei can really be to just kind of create the architecture you want for Hanbin to go just knife somebody in the face.
And his blades have been on point here too. Great first pick because that means Photon Barrier isn't on the point, but Hanbin finding Becky. It's a retaliation right afterwards. No Photon Barrier from either side. And currently Bliss now finding Slay. Yes, the window was used. Arpen's upset. Develop comes in, and Panthera, they clear out the Dallas Fuel finally here. Well, Dallas Fuel are sitting at 41%.
Still a lot to walk away with. MCD just expending the T-Amplification Matrix doesn't feel too bad in that scenario either. But Panthera and the strength of this Reinhardt comp comes from the defense as well. You hold the line. You've got great area of effect ultimates to work with the Blizzard, but Dallas Fuel are going to bypass that as much as possible and just drop down from this high ground.
They're going to try to contest me. Dallas Fuel looking at Panthera, the Photon Barrier, the Blizzard calling in. Arpen stuck here, so is Becky. The sound barrier from both sides between Bliss and Develop, but Panthera taking so much damage. Arpen with the shatter gets the pin onto Hanbin, and Slay, he used up the lamp. It helped restabilize 3 of the members of Panthera. His sacrifice, though, does not go unnoticed. Panthera still stay on this point. An amazing attempt from the Dallas Fuel. Rather expensive one, though, from Panthera to hold its defense.
That last fight reminded me of Overwatch 1. Both Symmetra walls coming out there. You got the Mei walls too. On top of that, the Reinhardt shields, everything else going into the mix. That was a lot for both sides. But it's going to be Hanbin's ultimate that could swing the tide back into Dallas Fuel's favor. As that Rampage comes online and Panthera hold this mid, Hanbin can just go sneak in and run this through everybody in the back.
Oh, they know with that Shao, they know what he's got. The wall coming in, but it doesn't find its way behind Arpen, but still finds through with the Rampage nonetheless. Finding Arpen, Develop trying to navigate his way around, but Blitz is on his tail. Lovely follow-up off that Rampage that the Dallas Fuel had to work with, but still the progress for Panthera nearly at 84%. It's not over yet, and it's looking great with the efforts coming in from Panthera.
I love this Reinhardt look. It really has shown up in a big way where Dallas Fuel, with this Drunkard Queen composition, would have been favored otherwise. But Panthera still have their work cut out for them. They have this Blizzard to be able to come back in with, but watch out for these Symmetras. Those Photon Barriers are going to be coming up very shortly, and Edison's going to crack his first. Wait this
Blizzard's
out.
also on board here, too, from each side. Also, Windows online, but with Becky going down first, they won't have the Photon Barrier coming out after all. Here comes the Blizzard getting called in from Nice. Sparkle just waiting patiently, navigating through Nice wall here too, as Nice is going to be able to go down mid. Edison with the teleporter. They're nearing 84% already, and look at this aggressive position that the Dallas Fuel are holding, forcing them all over to the side, while Panthera are going to go for a desperate regroup because they only have that 6 seconds left.
Oh, they have to pop the amplification matrix at least to try to push Dallas Fuel back. But Arpen gets stopped at the way wall, has to try to cart around after investigating the overtime, but this is it. Vicky, Dallas Fuel could shut it out here.
The desperate swaps coming in right now too. Panthera, it was a good try, but you can't beat the Dallas Fuel on their own playground. Lijiang, the saving grace here for the Rush Comp team. Specialist out here, clutching out an insanely close series versus Panthera.
That was such a back and forth series. Dallas Fuel don't even really look happy with that win. They look perturbed.
Rust.
I would be a little nervous about the Dallas Fuel heading into the East knockouts. But a big congratulations to them, because with this win over Panthera, that will be their 100th league franchise win. And so at least there is that to celebrate in this matchup, but a lot to take away from this series overall.
And also to recap the run too. They basically had a perfect record, minus the series that they had yesterday, where they lost against the Hangzhou Spark. But overall, the Dallas Fuel, they made so many readjustments, the changes within their team that they stuck together with to come back even stronger on this dive attempt. Still the Rush, their strongest suit, and we have to give player of the match to Sparkle. So many individual pieces stand out here. Sparkle and Edison, it was very difficult, honestly, to decide here which of these players really stood out the best. But Sparkle, we got to give it to him. And the pulse bomb sticks that he had in comparison to what we had seen from Becky was a really big playmaker in those last two fights. Or rather, those last two maps.
Yeah, not even just that, but even just kicking things off with this series in such a big way. Sparkle stood out immediately on that Tracer. We saw that on sub level, just constantly setting the pace, matching up with the synergy of Edison Sombra and Hanbin's Winston, and just some great follow-up coming in from those Ananades from MCD. Just really phenomenal stuff to show off why Dallas Fuel as a team has been and has become kind of the premier double flank DPS dive team in the APAC region. Alongside, trying to figure out some of these looks with the Drunkard Queen and the Diva too.
Yeah, and this has been something that Dallas Fuel are going to go back to the drawing board and figure out here. This attempt on Numbani. Sparkle, though, was really quick with your readjustments. Honestly, Sparkle shined the brightest when it came to dealing with Panthera on the map that they took. Being on the Echo, trying to match that with Becky, and that's them having some time dealing with the fact that Sparkle also had help with the Mercy too. Then we got to see the Tracer 1v1 over on the other side on Watchpoint. But Sparkle, again, just had so many of these highlighted moments. With Develop was also a really big issue when it came to Hanbin having these primal dive situations set up. He was getting shut down, and who was there alongside Hamden was Sparkle with these sticks, dealing with Becky, dealing with Develop, and even finding Slay at one point.
Yeah, it's been fun to watch, and I think you do have to give both credit to how much Sparkle was performing in this match overall, but like also kind of needing to do that with how strong of an opponent Panthera really proved to be in this match. But it was the Mei at the end of this series that really closed it out for Dallas Fuel. And you can see how much work Sparkle has also been putting in on this hero in particular too. Just not even with the Icicles being able to find their mark, but really just conforming that architecture with those Mei walls. But let's go ahead and hear from the Dallas Fuel after their win with a translation from Unknown.
안녕하세요. MCD 선수 승리 축하드립니다.
Hi MCD, congrats on your
네,
win.
그리고 델러스의 리그 100승도 축하드리겠습니다. 승리 소감 한번 부탁드려도 될까요?
Also, congrats on your 100th franchise win. How do you feel?
생각보다 좀 도전했어서 조금 더 기쁜 승리인 것 같아요. 그리고 1위 확정되고 팀 100승도 챙겨서.
Well, today it was a little bit trickier than we thought, so it was also that much more valuable, and also it also celebrates our 100th franchise win and also locks in our first place in the qualifiers, so it's a good thing.
남극 반도에서도 그랬고 델러스의 색깔이라고 볼 수 있는 퀸 조합이 많이 나왔습니다. 현재 메타에서 사실 많이 나오지
So
않는데
we see a lot of Junker Queen from you, especially on Antarctic Peninsula today. Is this is something that not a lot of teams do? Can we expect more of this on knockouts from you?
있어서 팀도 한번 해보자 했는데 이게 또 스트림할 때 연습할 때 잘 돼서 그래서 사용했던 것 같습니다.
So in practice, we kind of, made this as an experimental pick. Let's just see how this goes out. In scrims, it went pretty well, so that's why it came on to official matches.
그런 부분보다는 당장 카운터 칠 수 있는 조합, 그래도 좋아 보이는 조합이라 사용했었던 것 같아요.
So, I don't think it's like an uncounterable composition, but I think it's overall it's a good
인상적인
composition.
장면을 많이 보여주셨습니다. 특히나 상대 궁을 카운터 치는 그런 모습을 많이 보여주셨는데 혹시 그 눈바니에서 2층에 자리를 잡고 계실 때 상대 에코가 플랭킹을 하는데 수면으로
We saw you shutting down a lot of opposition ults today. Especially one of the most impressive ones was sleeping the flanking Echo in Numbani.
정면에 에코가 안 보여서 이제 팀원들이 콜을
So
해서
was this something that was
돌았나
communicated?
보다라고 했는데 그때 에코가 나와가지고
Pretty much, because the team call was that, hey, we don't see Echo, maybe Echo's flanking, and then I was on the lookout for, I was definitely aware of the Echo, and then I turned back and there was the Echo, so
상당히 재우기 쉽지 않았을 텐데 정말 대단하다는 생각이 드는데 또 상대 트레이서가 아나를 집요하게 노렸습니다. 근데 그때마다 펄스를 무빙으로 좀 피하는 모습이 있던데 의도를 하시고 무빙을 하신
Also, the
건가요?
opposition tracer was really eager to get you, and then we saw you dodging a lot of pulse bombs as well. Did you kind of focus especially on your movement when you were going against the tracer?
정말 인터뷰를 하면서 대단하다는 생각이
So of course,
알고도 못
it's
피하는
I think
게
definitely as
MCD
when playing as a Nana, you have to definitely have to be
정말
aware
중요한 것
of
같습니다.
where the tracer is
콘셉트에
and
대한
how they're
말씀을
moving, because you can kind of predict
누가 조금
what
더
they're
신경
trying
써서
to
하는
do
편인지
when they see
궁금해요.
when you see the movement. So I was really focused on that.
주로 해주는 편이에요.
블리스 선수가 주로 해주는 편이다라고 답변해 주셨습니다. 오늘 또 델러스가 정말 어제 살짝 아쉬운 그런 모습이 있었지만 오늘 정말 칼을 갈고 나왔다라는 생각이 들었던 게 눈바니에서요 2층 자리를 굉장히 쉽게 먹는 모습을
So,
보여주셨습니다.
yesterday was a little bit of a disappointment for the Fuel, but today we saw a lot of impressive moments for the Fuel as a team today, especially how you took space. Just in point one map was Numbani. So how was there any special preparation for that?
컨셉을 잡았던 것 같아요.
그러면은 그 컨셉을 가지고 A
Yeah, so today we were kind of like having a team, I guess like a team concept or a team color today. Just trying to take space one by one and then slowly choking out the enemy.
눈바니 말고도 지브롤터 비행기 자리가 정말 먹기도 힘들고 지키기도 힘든데 그 자리를 어떻게 선점을 잘 하셨는지가 궁금해요.
So also, not just on Numbani, you also saw this on Gibraltar as well. On second point, how did you plan to win the airplane
에코를
spot
많이
and
마크해서 2층을
point
잘
B.
선점을 하셨다라고까지 말씀을 해주셨습니다.
I think
오늘로써 서머
mostly we
퀄리파이어
just
일정이
communicated
모두
where the
끝이
enemy is,
났습니다.
and then we just try to outmaneuver them as
7승
best as we
1패로
can.
마무리한 댈러스거든요. 소감이 어떠신가요? 시즌을 마무리하는 소감이?
And this is the end of the Summer Qualifiers for you. Like, any overall comments?
성적이 좋아서 기쁘긴 하지만 그래도 저희가 전승으로 압도적으로 1등을 한 게 아니고 좀 위태위태한.
So I'm definitely feeling good that we had better performance than spring, but definitely we were far from being perfect, and we still have a lot to improve on.
그렇다면 너가웃에 대한 각오 마지막으로 부탁드리겠습니다.
So last question, what's your goal coming into the knockouts?
캐나다 가고 싶습니다.
네, 알겠습니다. 너가웃의 좋은 모습 끝까지
Of course, I want to do well
기대해보도록
knockouts and
하겠습니다.
goal the full
감사합니다.
distance. And that's the end of the interview. Back to you,
네,
Vicky.
지금까지 댈러스 퓨얼의 MCD 선수 만나봤습니다.
Thank you so much, Unknown. Unknown, always the GOAT. Shout out to MCD as well, answering plethora of questions out here too. With their win, they know that they're a little shaken up. There wasn't the dub that they were looking for, but they still get it. Nonetheless, their 100th win. Congratulations to the Dallas Fuel. We got so much more action here in the Overwatch League for you guys coming soon. Don't go anywhere, because here's APAC action coming in.